Welcome, everybody, to the final score. I'm your host, Nicholas Marcinov, and today we are going to be talking about the final four who will be fighting for the chance to play in the finals for the Stanley Cup. This is going to be an intense matchup. We have a repeating matchup from last season, as well as one returning contender going up against the Montreal Canadiens. Almost an exact repeat, three of the same returning members. But is there going to be any differences between last season and this season? Let's go ahead and talk about it right now, starting with our first matchup. It's going to be the New York Islanders taking on the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. The New York Islanders are representing the East Division. Although they came in as the number 4 seed, that did not stop them from eliminating the number 1 seeded Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games or the number 3 seeded Boston Bruins in 6 games. Uh, on the season, they went 32, 17, and 7 for 71 points. Not too shabby at all. They are going to go up against the team representing the Central Division, the number 3 seeded Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning did not have as much success as, well, I would have thought in the regular season, seeing how they are the defending champions. However, it's when the playoffs come that truly matter. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they had to defeat the Florida Panthers 4-2 and the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games to make it to the semifinals for a second straight year. On the season, though, they went 36, 17, and 3 for 75 points. Not too shabby at all. Just 4 points is the difference between these two teams. The thing about this matchup that is going to be interesting is it is a repeat of the 2020 season when everything was in a bubble. The New York Islanders have greatly improved on the season, but the Tampa Bay Lightning, like I said, felt like they might have taken a bit of a step back during the regular season. But again, it's in the playoffs that truly matter. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the top 3 point getters for the New York Islanders. So the top point getter is John Gabriel Pajot, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He has 3 goals, 10 assists, and 13 points. He's a great guy who's going to set up others to succeed, and that's what you really need on a team that's going to be trying for the Stanley Cup. Next up, we have Josh Bailey, who has 5 goals, 6 assists, and 11 points. Very good, very good. I hope I said Josh Bailey and not Dan Bailey. Uh, Next up, we have Anthony Beauvillier with 4 goals, 7 assists, and 11 points. These top three have been playing great in the playoffs. Each of them have over 10 points apiece. So they are doing damage in these playoffs, especially whenever you're facing off against the Penguins and the Boston Bruins. To have this kind of point production is very impressive. But right now, their backbone is Simeon Varlamov, who is 4-3 with 2.62 goals against average and a 925 save percentage. He has not started every game in the playoffs for the Islanders. He's only played 7 games, but he still is the one who took down the Boston Bruins, not single handedly. The guys up front were really playing for them. The New York Islanders have a great defensive structure where they will take hold of a lead and then they will force their opponents to really stay on their end of the ice. They're not going to let in a lot of chances into their own zone. It's going to be very difficult for the Tampa Bay Lightning. However, with the Tampa Bay Lightning side of things, oh man. All right, let's talk about their point getters. So, first up, their top point getter, Nikita Kucherov, has 5 goals, 13 assists, and 18 points. Another great guy who's going to set up his friends to succeed, and that's what you want. Steven Stamkos is number 2 with 4 goals, 8 assists, and 13 points. Remember last season when he wasn't there for most of the Stanley Cup run and he only played for like 5 shifts and then he got a goal on one of them. He's one of the guys that the New York Islanders are going to have to worry about because he's going to say to himself, man, I didn't really win that Stanley Cup. I'm going to go win it this time. He's going to be very deadly on the ice. Then you have Braden Point with 8 goals, 4 assists, and 12 points. Just he's been awesome the last couple of seasons. Very impressed by him. But my favorite player on the Tampa Bay Lightning has to be their goaltender, the young stud Andre Vasilevsky, who has started every game for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He is 8-3 with 2.24 goals against average and a 934 save percentage. This dude in the playoffs is a brick wall. This is why in each of my past couple of prediction videos, I have said I learned my lesson about voting against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning have Andre Vasilevsky. The New York Islanders do have Varlamov, who is a great goaltender. But in the playoffs, you need a spectacular goaltender, and that's what I see in Andre Vasilevsky. He is a young stud. He's a finalist for the Vezina. This is going to be a very, very close game. You have the defensive strategy of the New York Islanders that are going to try their best to shut down Kucherov and Stamkos. Maybe need to even worry about Braden Point. But the overall offense of the Tampa Bay Lightning is so suffocating. And they won. They won so dominantly against the Carolina Hurricanes. They might have had a couple of bad games against the Florida Panthers, but they were dominant against the Hurricanes, who would have been my pick to come out of the East, Central, whatever you want to call it, just, opposite side of the country. That's who I would have picked. But oh man, the Lightning are just so tough, and the New York Islanders are much improved. But I'm still going to have to side with the Tampa Bay Lightning in this playoff matchup. I just think that they have too much offense. The New York Islanders, they're really going to have to rely on their defense if they are able to get a lead. But the Tampa Bay Lightning are so impressive on offense that I don't know if it's going to matter all too much. We'll have to see if the New York Islanders can impress. This is the first matchup between teams outside of their own division. So anything can happen. We don't really know what to expect because we haven't seen them play anybody outside of their own teams. And that's what makes it so intriguing is all we have is to go off of what we've seen so far. And what I've seen, I've been more impressed by the Tampa Bay Lightning just completely manhandling the Carolina Hurricanes. I I'm not going to completely discredit the New York Islanders. I'm going to say that Tampa Bay wins it in 7 games. I'm going to say New York Islanders, especially in their home stadium, is going to have that place rocking, but eventually it'll be the Tampa Bay Lightning who are going to strike and win the series and go back to the Stanley Cup. Moving on to the next matchup, it's one that is very personal to me, seeing how my favorite team is the Vegas Golden Knights. It's the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, the number 4 seeded Montreal Canadiens from the North Division, who went 24, 21, and 11 with 59 points on the season, who took out the Toronto Maple Leafs of all teams in 7 games. They were down 3-1 and they bounced back in a big way. Then they took out the Winnipeg Jets in 4 games. They completely swept the Winnipeg Jets. And I would be lying if I said that these guys are not impressive. I would be lying if I said that. They have shown so much grit, so much prowess on the ice. This is a team that is starving to be good. If it was any other season, I don't think 59 points would have got them to where they are right now. They would have had to face other teams in the matchups, but they look at who's in front of them and they are taking them down. The Vegas Golden Knights, on the other hand, oh boy. Again, as a Vegas Golden Knights fan, this has been a very, very stressful couple of playoff series for me because I know how Vegas plays against these specific teams. So the Vegas Golden Knights went 40-14-2 with 82 points on the season. They nearly won the West Division, but lost it to the Colorado Avalanche, who also won the President's Trophy. But in the playoffs, they took on one of their worst teams, just matchup wise, in the Minnesota Wild. They took them down in 7 games. They did have a 3-1 lead. However, in game number 7, they were able to take them down. They did the exact opposite of what the Toronto Maple Leafs did. And then in round number 2, which should have been the semifinals, had it been any other season, it would have been the semifinals. They took on the Colorado Avalanche and won in 6 games after dropping the first 2. It really felt like Vegas is going to struggle in that series, but they kept with it and they dominated the Colorado Avalanche for the next couple of games. And then the last 2 were a bit shaky, but it did not matter in the end. This series is one that also stresses me out, mostly because when the Vegas Golden Knights have taken on the Montreal Canadiens, they've only played in 6 games. Of those 6 games, they don't have a very good record. They are 1, 2, and 3 against the Montreal Canadiens. They have only ever gotten 5 points off of them in the possible 6 games. That's not good. For some reason, just the Montreal Canadiens have the Vegas Golden Knights number. But then again, the last time they played was in 2019. A lot of things have changed. The world has changed. And so this does feel like a fresh matchup. The only thing that's really going to be very weird about this is the travel time. You're going to go from Vegas to Montreal a couple of times in the series. That's going to take a toll on everybody's bodies. But let's go ahead and just take a look at the Montreal Canadiens' top goal scorers, or not goal scorers, excuse me, point getters. Leading the Montreal Canadiens is Tyler Toffoli with 4 goals, 6 assists, and 10 points. When he is hot, he is hot. He has just enough momentum going right now that he can probably do a lot of damage against the Vegas Golden Knights. Next up, we have somebody that the Vegas Golden Knights should be familiar with in Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki is very relevant in this matchup because he was traded to the Montreal Canadiens in return for Max Pacioretty. So does he want a little bit of revenge on the Vegas Golden Knights? They drafted him 13th overall. I think he might want a little bit of revenge. And so far, he's has the second most points in on the Montreal Canadiens with 4 goals, 4 assists, and 8 points. He's going to be looking to do some damage to the Vegas Golden Knights. Next up, we have Joel Armia with 4 goals, 3 assists, and 7 points. Right around this is whenever the points start going down. But then again, they also haven't played as many points as the Vegas Golden Knights. But again, just like the New York Islanders, the backbone is Carey Price. He has been argued to be the best goaltender in the league. He went to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2014, where they lost in 6 games against the New York Rangers. We know what playoff Carey Price is like, and he's showing that he just wants another chance at it. Carey Price is 8-3 in the playoffs with a 1.97 goals against average and a 935 save percentage. He is a brick wall, and I cannot give him enough praise. This matchup between Vegas and the Montreal Canadiens is going to come down to goaltending. I've been doing live streams, and a question that's come up a couple of times is who's better, Fleury or Price? This might just be the one thing that settles it. Now let's take a look at the Vegas Golden Knights just really quick. Their top points production person is William Karlsson with 4 goals, 7 assists, and 11 points. Next up, you have Jonathan Marchessault with 6 goals, 2 assists, and 8 points, followed by Mark Stone, who has 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 points. And although he's not included because, again, I don't have a lot of room, Max Pacioretty also has 8 points. So you have 3 straight guys with 8 points. The team works very well at getting the puck to everybody and everybody going in to score. There's not one person on the team who really is the hero. And that's might be at the Vegas Golden Knights advantage. Follow But their backbone has to be Marc-Andre Fleury, the goaltender for the Golden Knights. Ever since the first season, Robin Leonard was came in and he was Pete DeBoer's guy, but Fleury has earned the right to remain as the starting goaltender as the Vegas Golden Knights. This guy is just awesome. He has somewhat of a career resurgence in Vegas. He's 8-4 in the playoffs. He's 1.91 goals against average, and his save percentage is sorry, is 923. He is playing out of his mind. When he needs to lock it down, he will lock it down. And the Vegas Golden Knights are very good offensively. Whenever they play, they feel like, even when we've seen it a couple of times in the series, in the past series, even in the regular season, that they can go down 0-2, bounce back and win that sucker. The Vegas Golden Knights are going to be very difficult for the Montreal Canadiens to handle. And all of Canada, most of Canada, are really hoping that the Montreal Canadiens can take down the Vegas Golden Knights and have a Canadian team representing the country in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're not liked by a lot of people because they've come in and in year 4, this is their third. I'm just going to call it the Western Conference Finals because it's a lot easier. This is their third semifinals appearance in 4 years. This is just a great team going up against another great team. Did the Montreal Canadiens have a great regular season? No. But Carey Price is playing out of his mind. That is one matchup that I'm very, very excited to watch. Is going to be Fleury versus Carey Price. And in this matchup, I have to give it to the Vegas Golden Knights. I have picked against them in both of these previous series, but in this series, I just it's hard. They took down the Minnesota Wild, who was their Achilles heel for a while. They took down the Colorado Avalanche, who many thought would win the Stanley Cup. And then they're going to take down another opponent that they struggle against, or potentially take down another opponent that they struggle against, and the Montreal Canadiens. This has just been a very, very tough test for the Vegas Golden Knights, and I don't think they're done yet. But I do believe that the Montreal Canadiens will get their share of wins. I see this going to 6. I don't see it going to 7. I don't want to say it's going to be a 4-0 sweep or 5 games because that would be a lot of disrespect towards the Montreal Canadiens. They have played great, especially when their back was against the wall against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They played phenomenally. So I think 6 games, the Vegas Golden Knights will come out on top, and our final will be the Tampa Bay Lightning going up against the Vegas Golden Knights, who are going to try to upset the Tampa Bay Lightning and win the Stanley Cup for the first time in team history. But that's just me. Those are my single thoughts. And if you guys want to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. Vote for who you think is going to win these matchups. I'm going to be making some comments and stuff, and you just vote with your likes. And who knows? Maybe the Montreal Canadiens will upset them. Maybe the New York Islanders will upset the Tampa Bay Lightning. Time will tell. I'm very excited that we are just so close to the Stanley Cup Finals being done. And also, I'm going to be streaming during the Montreal Canadiens and the Vegas Golden Knights series. So if you want to come in and just chit chat about your own team or any other team, just feel free and join. It's a very fun environment. We do have intermission games, and I'm going to try and get somebody to come in for an interview. We'll see if I can get that pulled off. So, just a quick recap. I have Vegas over Montreal Canadiens in 6 and Tampa Bay Lightning over the New York Islanders in 7. And that's the final score. Thank you and good night.